you were ever under the presumption that Asmongold has simple, basic, fence-sitting opinions, after his most recent rant, I think you can pretty much tuck that opinion in your back pocket and go fire it into the Gaza Strip, because this dude's out here just taking firm stances, and a firm stance that, frankly, I don't agree with. I think he gets it totally wrong. He gets it totally 100% backwards from what is actually going down on the ground. But here's the thing, totally entitled to say it. Frankly, I would like for him to say it, and then somebody to come along, fill him in on what's going down over there, and maybe he comes to a different conclusion, because as far as I can tell, his banning, right? Like, I'm sure it's a temporary ban, because I'm not entirely sure. Like, I know his commentary stuff is a relatively newer aspect to his online presence. I seen him really start to pop off in and around the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and ever since then, he's kind of the go-to streamer reactor, because at least he has something to say. It's not as boring as a moist critical, oh, here's thing that happens, insert meme where necessary, and then when pressed for an opinion, I fold like a cheap suit. Or somebody who we're going to be making some very obvious comparisons to, because, you know, these two, okay, Asmongold and Hasan, very interesting, because Hasan recently went viral over the past couple of days for a clip when he was on a podcast basically admitting that the left has failed to indoctrinate the youth of today. Like I said, more on that in the next couple of days. I'll have a video out on that specifically. I've come to some interesting conclusions, but one thing that I'm going to go ahead and spoil a little bit of, the glowing praise that Hasan gets for parroting the mirror version of what Asmongold had to say here. Gets write-ups in mainstream outlets. The article that I used to preface the conversation around what Hasan was saying was written by NBC News, not an offshoot, not kind of spin-off website, not MSNBC, CNBC, NBC for Kids. No. This is the proper network's journalist arm doing a write-up on a certifiable idiot and not getting into any of his more controversial takes. Frankly, for as dumb as Hasan is, I don't want him banned. I don't want him taken off the internet. I want him to continue to fail live in 4K for the world to see. His hours a day spent on the internet. Well, intermittent hours a day, because mostly he'll just leave his chair on stream to react to videos, and then he'll come back and add such witticisms as, I don't know. Great commentary there, Hasan. So glad your uncle put you on to the internet and got you such a sweet gig doing that. But in years gone by, he's had such spicy takes as that event that happened in September of 2001. America deserved that. A veteran, somebody who I vehemently disagree with on a lot of things, Dan Crenshaw, deserved to have his eye taken out, deserved to have it violated by Middle Eastern insurgents. I'm not entirely sure, and I can't quite remember if he was ever banned or temporarily suspended for any of those comments, but because Hasan has one of the biggest platforms on what at one point in time used to be the preeminent streaming service, it really doesn't matter. You can have the likes of Pokimane announce that she's taking a week off here, the next couple of days, because she knows that's going to negatively affect her in the algorithm and that people won't be talking about her. A couple of days before her announced vacation, she just so happens to pop out a tit on stream, get the world talking about her before she goes dark on a ban. If I didn't know any better, I would say that Twitch has better writers than the WWE or UFC. But let's talk about what Zach Asmongold had to say that ended up with him catching a ban and also losing some sponsorships, which I find very interesting. Very interesting. Let's go. Twitch banned streamer Asmongold's Zach Rar. I think that's his main channel as far as I know. Like I said, I appreciate his commentary whenever there's a trending topic out there and I kind of want a normie take on things. I think he comes to some interesting conclusions that he comes to honestly. He assesses the information that's laid out in front of him, and he comes to a conclusion based on that evidence in front of him. Like I said, I vehemently disagree with his opinion on what makes a country or a people good or bad and who's doing what in the Middle East, but that's because I have a different set of facts. I don't think that the bad people are the ones who are having their homes, hospitals, schools bombed because potentially there are tunnels underneath their buildings. I don't think the good guys are the ones firing missiles into residential neighborhoods in countries that have done nothing to deserve such treatment, and then when they retaliate, scream to the high heavens how they need to be supported by everybody during our trying times. And then when you assess the damage, you take a look at which side has a triple to quadruple digit body count, as opposed to the opposition side firing retaliatory missiles at military bases, resulting in 0 casualties. With that said, in a clip uploaded to the Drama Alert account on X, Asmongold stated, if you want to consider let's see how we can tiptoe around this stuff, because YouTube's the big lame, and whenever I talk about this, I end up facing negative consequences in the stupid algorithms. Here's the thing, man. When you talk about this stuff, and I would love to talk more about it because I spend a decent amount of time doing my research on it, it's just, regardless, whatever side you take on this, it's going to negatively affect you. So I say my piece, I get my jabs in wherever I can, because the moment that you come out full-throated on either side of this stuff, you get sent into a negative abyss. That's just the fact of it. So yeah, here's the kosher version of this, if you will. If you want to consider a blanket removal of a group of people as a systematic yeeting of a group of people, then you have the systematic eradication of a group built into Sharia law right now. That's not true at all whatsoever, but okay. So now, I'm going to cry a blood red river when people who have the blanket removal of a group of people that is baked into their laws are getting systematically destroyed. I don't give a care. Like, yes, and if you have normie takes, if you just accept the mainstream opinion, oh, take a look at what's baked into the Hamas charter. Oh, they say that they're the religion of peace, but you take a look at what's in Sharia law and you wouldn't come to that conclusion. I'm not out here simping for Islam at all whatsoever. Your boy's not wearing any, long white linen or anything like that, okay? I ain't doing no reversion, praying 9 times a day to the Northern Star. It's just, I've seen the documents, I've seen the papers. No, I've looked at the source material, and I find scant reference to any of the stuff that the mainstream loves to parrot. Because if you take a look at the flip reversal of that, you're going to find some shocking stuff in some certain texts and some ancillary texts they don't want you to look at. You'll come to a very swift conclusion as to who wants violence against what group. But yes, he continued, they're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way. And yeah, I don't agree with him, but if that's the conclusion due to the facts that he has and he wants to vocalize it, I appreciate that he has the balls to say it. He would continue. Asmongold, then asserted, they'd be doing the same thing. How much did, they yeet as many as they can. Yeah, talking about Palestinians, well, actually, I got the clip pulled up, if we're going to be completely honest, because I found it interesting, because everybody was running with the first half of that quote, and wasn't exactly letting it play out, because I think that there is some merit to this, after all.
They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of a ill-informed position. Because what's the general consensus about what happened October 7th, 2023? A bunch of Aladdin cosplayers came over on their hang gliders and rained down hellfire and brimstone on the little We Didn't Do Nothing music festival. That ended up with such devastation that it really does boggle the mind how a little ramshackle op like that could wreak the type of devastation that would leave an AC-130 looking spectacular by comparison. And of course, you listen to the comms from those assault helicopters, and then you come to a very different conclusion as to who fired on who in an attempt to get the other people and to make it look worse. It's all very interesting. But yes, these people are not your allies, he added. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture. That is horrible. And again, yeah, if you're under the assumption that, oh, okay, cool, it's worse for pick your protected group out there under an Islamic regime. The mainstream tries to tell you all the time. Mainstream conservative talking points, okay? Because the leftists, they have an equally as warped perception. It just comes from the idea that those poor brown people out there in the Middle East, they just need to be taught a little bit better. Yeah, I'd continue to go on. Those people for their identity and directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for. But you also take a look around at Western values and you go, holy crap, how perverted they've become to try to hold them up as some sort of a staple. Like if you were using traditional American dream First Amendment values, that would be different. But Western values today, where you just put bitches on pedestals for the simple fact that they have certain mutable characteristics, Western values that place mental illness and degeneracy above all else, I don't really know. And it's an inferior culture in all ways. It is that, it is that simple. No, I don't feel sorry. No, I'm not. I don't feel bad for them. I don't care. I don't support them. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like I said before, I've got my opinions on this stuff. I've let them be known explicitly and covertly. It's just the longer the stuff goes on, and about this time last year, it was looking really likely that we were probably heading towards something a little bit more catastrophic as tensions were starting to rise. But now what? It's just looking more and more like the powers that be just simply want to get the band back together in the Middle East, shipping over some U.S. troops over there to defend our greatest ally. So the moment that Ukraine rolls up, you can continue the military-industrial complex, so that all of those lobbyists from Raytheon and Blackwater, are they still around, or did they get folded into something else, can continue to just print money and make the money machine go brrr. To his credit, okay, after the clip went viral, Asmongold apologized. Looking back on it, I was way too much of an asshole about the Palestine thing. My bad. Of course, no one deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. You guys deserve more of me saying stupid crap like that. I'll do better. Fair enough. And like I said, he wants to take it upon himself to get a little bit more educated on the subject. That's cool. He wants to hold on to those values. He wants to hold on to those opinions. Perhaps refine them a little bit more before he espouses them. That's cool too. Or if he wants to double down on them like your normal Twitch streamer would. I personally don't care, because I want all sides of the spectrum uncensored and saying whatever the hell they want. But that, of course, is not Twitch's way. Asmongold's channel has been banned by Twitch, when trying to access the channel, message states, yes, the channel is temporarily unavailable due to the violation of Twitch's community guidelines or terms of service. Which, it's wild. I don't remember the last time I've seen somebody get banned for saying the stuff that he did about the group of people that he said that against. Now, they've been the pet project of the left for, going on 25 years at this point in time. Won't somebody please think of the Muslims crowd? Whenever somebody says, yeah, you know what, there's a problem with the certain radicalists that are out there, the religious zealot types. It's wild, because if you say the flip reverse of that, as we've seen over the past year, you get branded with the certain scarlet letter if you even brush up against that line, and then you lose all of your sponsors, you lose all of your platforming. It's just, this happens to be the first time that I can recall anybody explicitly says, hey, you know what? BB finished the job in so many words, and they get banned. Hell, all over Twitter. Take a look at what Ben Shapiro talks about on a regular basis. Far worse than anything that Asmongold had to say. And then, of course, the mirror version of this is Hasan with his comments over the years. And because I'm not a regular consumer of that brain-dead content, we're saying that, he recently had a terrorist on his stream. It's like, I don't know about that, but I think he's a mental terrorist who inflicts unknown damage on the population whenever he opens his yap. So, okay, cool. I don't want him banned for that. I don't like Hasan, but I would rather have him hit his idiocy for our laughs on the regular, because it's going to be really interesting to see how he copes after the election. But if he wants to do that, that's totally fine. And if Twitch wants to remain a platform after November, at least a viable one, they have to come to the conclusion that this isn't 2016. Hell, this isn't even 2020 anymore. There are viable alternatives that are out there. Rumble has a huge political community. I mean, take a look at what Aiden Ross just did over there at Kick, offering Fuentes a big contract, which is, I don't know, man, is that kind of a subvert and destroy tactic that he's trying to pull over there? Because that's kind of wild. But good on Kick for bucking the trend that they're just basically green Twitch instead of just, signing up thoughts. At least you're having a diversity of opinions. Not even one that I necessarily agree with, because he likes to play Boo the Jew a little bit too much for my tastes, but it's somebody that I don't want to see canceled either. But Twitch does what Twitch does best, because they have been in a death spiral for a while. Because what was it, about this time last year, we were talking about the different thought metas that were running around with chicks with censor bars over their intimate areas, or weird camera angles that would end up implying nudity. Wasn't that? Yeah, implied nudity, right? Then at the beginning of this year, massive layoffs. Like, Twitch is, they're in a bad spot, and them getting rid of for a temporary amount of time, not too sure, 3, 5, 7 day bans, not too sure how they run over there at Twitch, doesn't end up reflecting all that well on them. And especially when it's idiots like this that end up having the ear of Twitch. Or you have Casey Tron, one of these aged out thoughts that are just out there trying to police the internet, making the world a much less enjoyable place, highlighting all the TOS guidelines that Asmongold directly violated. Oh wow. It's interesting. It's almost like she has an axe to grind with somebody who surpassed her in popularity a long time ago. She's got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 different points that she thinks Asmongold made in his potentially out of context clip that she shares via Hasan updates account. You see how the cabal works over there? You see how they're always trolling to try to take down somebody bigger. A little bit of jealousy out there, and especially when Hasan was crying earlier this year that nobody is watching his stuff and he's seeing a steep fall off. Very interesting. Very interesting. So they come up with just goofy posts like this that get an exorbitant amount of traction. Pencil pigs trying to knock off people that have made a brand for themselves instead of coasting on cleavage or nepotism. But because they do all of this stuff, it has knock-on effects, like losing sponsorships, which is, again, very strange. I have not seen this play out like this in a while, in a long time. YouTuber Detective Seeds ends partnership with Asmongold's Starforge Systems PC after his comments about the war in Palestine. Which a lot of those words don't make a bunch of sense to me, but let's see. So Detective Seeds announced he would no longer work, with Starforge Systems PC on X. I am no longer partner with Starforge Systems PC. I have requested that my code be removed from usage after years of partnerships due to comments made by Asmongold, who is one of the owners. Oh, very bold. I have Muslim friends from that region. I cannot represent that product after his comments. 2.3 million views. Now, I don't know anything about Detective Seeds. What, they look like a trophy hunter gaming channel or something like that. I don't know why you'd need a PC if everything that you're doing is in regards to PlayStation, but 2.3 million views? Nothing fishy to see there at all. Another post he added, oh yeah, okay, of course. I will take heat for making the decision myself, won't bother me. I've just traveled the world enough to know that everyone who uses a prayer rug prays to Allah. Yeah, and fast during Ramadan, wants to get rid of me. Yeah, exactly, bro. We know. And Zach wasn't exactly as articulate with his speech, which he would end up clarifying in the aftermath. But all of your groveling, it's pretty pathetic because, and then follow that up with, in the last 24 hours, I have received everything that we would normally criticize the thoughts that are out there that have a bad take on something and then never provide any receipts. So I've received so many nasty messages, but don't ask me for any proof because I've yet to come up with any of it. But don't worry, just believe me, bro. Just listen and believe, which is kind of my big eye-opening revelation when it comes to all of this stuff. Mostly, finding out about the, hospitals, schools, apartment buildings getting destroyed because of my tunnels underground. Things really started to change and really made me double take the situation was when the right started to simp so bad about a bunch of college students saying, oh, we're getting harassed on campus. Oh, you can't, I couldn't even believe this is as bad as it's been since the 1940s Germany. And then you take a look at what's actually going down on college campuses, and it's a bunch of stinky looking losers holding up signs saying Free Palestine. It's like, it sounds like a case of people crying out in pain as they attack you once again. So Asmongold definitely stuck his foot in his oversized mouth. Don't agree with what he had to say, but goddammit, the man has a right to say it. And for the fact of the matter that Twitch decided to temporarily or permanently ban his channel. I haven't heard any clarification on that in the past couple of days, so see where it goes from there. Yet at the same time, not have equal application of the rules for other parties speaking similar, if not worse, rhetoric. I'm just thinking that this is Twitch having a normal one and them actually showing their true colors and why they aren't taken as a serious platform anymore. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.